One down, two to go. IBF champ Steve Forbes, the latest entry in the junior lightweight sweepstakes. The new kid on the block, but before he can count himself in with the 130-pound in crowd or hope for inclusion in any kind of unification series, he needs to score a convincing victory over his opponent tonight, John Brown, whom he beat in controversial fashion when an ear injury halted the fight.
Well, the first fight was a very rough fight. You know, it was one of them fights that has to be continued, you know. I didn't know at first, but I seen him kind of grimace and he kind of grabbed me. And then I looked and I seen a lot of blood coming from, you know, on his shoulder. And then right then I knew there was something wrong. I think a couple judges had him ahead and one judge had me ahead by 1 point. It was such a close fight that I think it deserves a rematch just because I want to get it straight, you know, as well. I think you're going to see a good boxing lesson this fight. The way I trained for this and the game plan that I have for this is going to be a good fight for me. In my career, I was never built up to be a world champion. I just kept winning. You know, I was never had a stage where, yeah, we're going to build this guy up. I just kept winning and kind of snuck up on the championship. When people don't expect a lot from you, it leaves a bigger stage to show, you know, what you're made of.
And here comes the champion, Steve Forbes. Behind one of the officials, there he is, who brought back Floyd Mayweather Sr. to train him, replacing Miguel Diaz. Said even though he won, he fought the wrong fight. The original meeting was lured into a machismo thing. He should fight less on the inside, box more, use more movement, and jab more. Said he hasn't fought since December because of an injured lower back. Bobby, he still has to prove he's a championship caliber 130-pounder. What's your take on this guy?
You know, Forbes is a very good boxer with some pretty good defense, nice speed, but not a lot of power. Only a few knockouts in his wins. And he hasn't really been truly tested against top quality opposition. The last time he was really tested was in the first fight with John Brown, and 2 of the 3 judges when the fight came to its untimely end had Brown ahead. So I think the jury's still out on him. After tonight, we should have a much better idea.
His only loss, March 2000, a decision to Alejandro Gonzalez. He's 5-0 since. And the challenger, 5'2", John Brown. This is one angry, outspoken man in a rage that the first fight with Forbes here at this venue was stopped under the circumstances, contending the cut and bleeding was on the outside of the ear, not the inside. He claimed the IBF, in essence, stopped it, not the doctor. Serious charges. He was ahead on 2 of the 3 cards when the so-called punctured eardrum ended it in the 8th. He's been in there with Shane Mosley, Diego Corrales, Jesus Chavez. He took Chavez and Corrales the distance. This is one driven, hungry fighter, Bobby.
You know what? This guy, John Brown, has a fighter's mindset, a warrior's mindset. I like the way he thinks. He came to fight. That's all he wants to know about. He's short. He has to be aggressive, get on the inside. He is intense and very, very focused. I've never seen anything quite like this recently.
He will try to get into the chest of Steve Forbes from the start. Let's check the numbers as we go to the tail of the tape, and they favor Forbes. 9 years younger than Brown, 5 inches taller, a 3.5-inch reach advantage at yesterday's weigh-in, both at 130. Tonight, Forbes 134, Brown 133.5. And the key rules for this IBF title fight: no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt occurs before the end of the 4th round, the fight is ruled a technical draw. If it occurs after the end of round 4, they go to the scorecards. So here at Miccosukee, getting ready for Steve Forbes and John Brown for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship. The introductions from our ring announcer, Ronnie Duncan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back here to the Miccosukee Indian and Gaming Resort for a fine evening of boxing. It is the next of our featured bouts of the evening. This bout is being presented by America Presents in association with Top Rank Incorporated, along with Showtime Championship Boxing. This bout is being sanctioned by the IBF. Your supervisor is Al Meyer, in association with the Miccosukee Athletic Commission. The physician at ringside, Dr. Stanley Simpson and Dr. Mark Gordon. The timekeeper at the bell, Carmine Chirella. Our judges tonight, Michael Pernick, Mark Streisand, and Peter Trematera. Your referee for this bout, Frank Santori. All right, here we go, fight fans. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Lightweight Championship of the World. Presenting first the challenger in the blue corner, wearing the gold trunks with black trim, fighting out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. He weighed in at 130 pounds. His record includes 23 wins, 8 losses, 1 no contest with 11 knockouts. Please welcome the #2 ranked IBF junior lightweight contender, John Brown. His opponent across the ring in the red corner is wearing the black trunks with white and gold trim. He is fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada by way of Portland, Oregon. He too weighed in at 130 pounds. His record, an outstanding one. 19 wins, 1 loss with 5 knockouts. Please welcome the defending IBF Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Steve Forbes.
Go, Steve. All right, guys, we've gone over all the instructions. Just want to show you. Steve, you've got your trunks up high, so a blow here is not going to be a low blow. Understand that. John's trunks are below his button, so a blow here will be a low blow. Keep him off his trunks and above. All right, watch your rabbit punches. Protect yourselves at all times. Questions, gentlemen? Questions? Good luck to you.
Final instructions from Frank Santori out of Orlando, Florida. They call him 2-pound Steve Forbes because at birth he was 2 pounds. He's increased by about 128. He's clever, tricky, not a big banger, mostly a counterpuncher, looks to outbox, and not much of a mover. Brown, his 4th shot at a world title. As mentioned, only 5'2", short even for this weight. So he normally has to, as Bobby put it, work his way inside to overcome his opponent's height and reach advantages. He is not a big puncher, but he does have some pop. He is very aggressive, offensive-minded, awkward, presses forward, and he keeps a fast pace.
He's one of those tough little buzzsaws that's always in your face, always coming, and it's hard to get him off. Very annoying sometimes.
Very resilient, no quit, good chin, well-conditioned, disciplined.
Keep your elbow down, Steve.
Forbes, a well-schooled boxer
up,
with
John,
good speed and skills. Forbes in the black trunks. Brown in the gold trimmed with black. You have to wonder a little bit about the sharpness and conditioning of Forbes. This is his first fight in 2001. His last fight was with Brown about 10 months ago. Brown fought about 5 months ago. Forbes, raised in Portland, Oregon by his grandmother, moved in with his mother at 17 in Tacoma, and then went to Las Vegas on his own to further his career at 19. Richard Steele, the former referee, pointed him in the right direction. John Brown, the antithesis of Steve Forbes, personality-wise.
Yeah, I've never really seen anything quite like the interview we had with John Brown. He was intense, angry, and very animated.
Go on, John.
But we didn't take it personally. One former trainer of his named Malcolm Perkins, a one-time Vietnam POW, used odd methods on Brown, which may be one of the reasons he is the way he is. He had Brown walk a tightrope while being poked at with a cattle prod. He had him fight blindfolded, piggybacking 200-pound men while walking in the sand, and he was tied to a heavy bag while the bag was being kicked and punched. That might make you angry.
I don't know if that make me angry or beyond angry, Steve. I don't understand how you equate that to boxing and how it helps him here, but if it made his mind a little better, okay, but it certainly made him hostile.
I would think it might toughen you up a little. As we approach the final 30 seconds of a subdued first round.
Quiet first round. Right now, though, John Brown not getting close enough, not throwing enough punches.
Punch your way out. Punch your way out.
Will Brown make like the last time and turn this into a trench battle eventually and be able to dictate the tempo? We shall see. A rather uneventful opening round scheduled for 12.
Time.
How about the keys to victory for Forbes versus Brown, Bobby?
Okay, let's start. Steve Forbes. Use his speed and jab. It's his best way to set up combinations to get points. Also box smart from the outside. His height and reach, he's best served to be in this place. And lastly, sharp counterpunching. Brown's coming, make him miss and make him pay. And make him pay often. For John Brown, being that short, he wants to close the gap, get to the inside. And once he gets on the inside, work the body, try and take the legs out from under Steve Forbes. And lastly, land his power shots. He's the better puncher. He can get 2 or 3 off in a combination in a row. He could score a knockout.
Seconds out, please.
A very quiet red corner of Steve Forbes. Floyd Mayweather Sr. is his new trainer. Intriguing since his son is the WBC 130-pound champ. But he left Floyd Jr. and joined Forbes. How interesting if Mayweather ever fought Forbes.
I think there have been very few times in the course of boxing history that father-son teams with training and fighting actually worked out without there being some serious hostility and problems. It's a difficult and emotional bond between the two that can allow them to continue during this type of sport.
Very rarely is it successful. Of course, the first name that comes to mind these days is that of Trinidad. Father and son working well together. Well, just a year ago, Forbes was campaigning 2 weight classes higher at 140, stronger at 130 than when he was fighting at the heavier weights. Tonight, once again, he goes up against an opponent who's just 5'2", but like a pit bull as he gets inside. He lands with the right hand as John Brown in the gold, the Eastern Beast from Atlantic City.
He's swinging a little wild, though, Steve, not really throwing those punches with good form. Threw a lot inside that didn't land at all. 1 or 2 landed, but they're more like big smacks as opposed to good, solid punches.
Punches up, Steve.
Halfway through the second for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship. It's a rematch. Forbes in the black winning the first fight with an 8-round stoppage when the left ear of Brown was punctured.
You notice Brown's not throwing a lot of jabs. Even though he's short, he needs to be Tyson-like, and he's bob and move his head, jab his way and go to the body, then come up. Once you get in there, throw the power shots. But he can't lead with the power shots with those short arms and that not so good speed.
John Brown, who started out 10-0, 12-8 since, though, with 1 no contest. Both fighters have never been down. Forbes 19-1 with just 5 knockouts. 1-0 in world title fights. John Brown 23-8, 1 no contest, 11 KOs. 0-3 in world championship fights. Brown rated number 2 by the IBF.
Break him down, John, break him down. Break him down. Stay close to him. Stay close to him.
Forbes, an excellent amateur, 6-time Golden Gloves champ. Final seconds of the second round. Let's get it over to Jim Gray with a report, Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. I'm now back in the locker room of Acelino Freitas, and Oscar Suarez is here with us to translate. Acelino, if we can see your hand, he has broken, we believe, his hand. The doctor here, Stanley Simpson, will oversee it here in a minute. Oscar, ask him what the problem is, and is it broken?
Well, basically, in the 5th round, he felt it. See, but Acelino don't like to bring no excuses. You know, he's a warrior, and we believe it might be broken. See, he's right at the knuckle. So basically, the doctor is going to check it. It's not confirmed yet, but he'll be ready for Casamayor. So we're going to have enough time to recuperate.
How much time would it take for an injury like this to recuperate, Oscar?
Basically, about a month and a half. We're going to have plenty of time, yes.
Any problems with his hands before, particularly his right hand?
No. Popo, ¿usted tuvo alguna vez problema con su mano antes?
Never.
No, never. But basically, it looks like it's not a broken hand. It's right at the knuckle. You see?
Looks like both knuckles almost.
Yeah, both knuckles. The guy's head, he was so hard. You know, I was trying to keep Asalino away from the head. But you know how it is, the adrenaline and the fighter's instincts, you know.
Asalino, we hope you feel better. Oscar, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Steve?
All right, Jim, which may explain in part why Freitas did not keep his perfect knockout record alive. What may be a broken right hand sustained in round 5 for Asalino Freitas. And he would have possibly around 4 months with which to recover to fight Casamayor in early 2002.
Yeah, he'd have plenty of time for that for January or February 2002. And I took a pretty good look at it. I've had mine broken, as you know, more than once. And the swelling on that particular hand didn't look near to be what it should be for a broken hand, but you never can tell. Fractures happen all the time.
We heard what Oscar Suarez said. How long? About a month and a half. How long did it take you?
Well, my one hand had to be rebuilt, so it took 9 months.
Oh, boy.
But the other time I broke the hand, I just cracked the knuckle, and it only took 3 months.
All right, the action picking up now here in round 3 between Forbes in the black, Brown in the gold. A rematch for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship.
One of the better exchanges so far in this fight. But again, the shorter man can't stay that far outside. He's got to work in behind the jabs. He can't lead in with his big leaping shots. He's going to get timed.
When Forbes won the title over Brown back in December, the title was vacated by Diego Corrales. Past the halfway point of the 3rd. Well, Freitas wanted to make a statement earlier, perhaps held back by that possible broken right hand. Does Forbes? Forbes looking to make a statement tonight in front of both Casamayor and Freitas.
He's fighting this fight better than he fought the first one. He's fighting smarter. His defense is sharper. He's moving, stepping around Brown better, landing better, cleaner shots.
Forbes calls himself the forgotten champion. Everybody talks about Floyd Mayweather Jr., Joel Casamayor, and Asalino Freitas, but Steve Forbes looking to prove he belongs in that very impressive group.
Maybe a phrase better suited for Steve Forbes is not necessarily forgotten, but not yet established.
Right, stop. You're tied up. Break. Step back. Don't punch. Don't punch.
Move your head. Keep moving your head. Don't move your head.
John, watch your head inside, John.
Final seconds of round 3. We're going to go back to our Jim Gray to give us some more information about Asalino Freitas in the hand. Jim?
Well, he was just examined by Dr. Mark Gordon, the attending ring physician here. And Dr. Gordon believes that it is just some heavy swelling that has taken place above his his ring finger knuckle and his second finger knuckle. He thinks there possibly could be a hairline fracture, but he doesn't think it's too serious. He has recommended to Asalino that he go get an x-ray tomorrow. He did not tell him to go to the hospital tonight. He does not think it is that serious. He wants him to ice it tonight, take a couple of anti-inflammatories, let it see how it is, but he does not believe that it is serious at all. Steve?
Thank you, Jim. More encouraging than what was first thought.
Don't stop jabbing. Keep your left hand busy. Ray Robinson, catch him around the side when he does it on slow jab. All right? Okay, gentlemen, seconds out. Let's go. Let's go. Make it quick, guys. Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
Here's Steve Forbes. John Brown, who has Mike Hall, who replaced Eddie Mustafa Muhammad in his corner. Plus the ubiquitous Cassius Green with the trademark captain's hat as his cut man. Very quiet here at the Miccosukee Arena. This particular fight thus far doesn't have quite the intensity that the Freitas Cote fight had, although that wasn't exactly what you would call a barn burner. There's a nice swift left hook to the head by Forbes.
I think a lot of the reason why the intensity is lesser here is that Forbes is fighting a smarter fight, tying Brown up on the inside, not letting him walk in and throw punches at will. He's counter-punching him pretty well and then tying him up, which makes a less intense fight all around.
Forbes telling us that he was lured into an inside brawl in the first fight, and his strategy is to stay and box on the outside more and jab and move more, and he's He's adhering to that policy thus far. Forbes fighting a smart fight against the in-fighter, 5'2" John Brown of the gold. Forbes looking to maintain the championship. He is the IBF junior lightweight champion, his first defense. 19-1, 5 knockouts. He's wearing the black trunks. Originally out of Portland, Oregon, now living in Las Vegas. John Brown of the gold with the black trim. 23-8, 1 no contest, 11 KOs out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. From a very violent beginning.
There you go, John. Punch away.
As mentioned, 12 different foster homes. Brother was murdered. He's been shot at.
See, so many times Brown works his way inside and then gets tied up or doesn't land well and gets spun off, and he has to work his way back in. It always takes more energy. And usually, because a bigger man, Forbes, can hit him first, he has to absorb on the way in. So he's getting out-boxed right now.
Forbes goes 5'7". He's got a 5-inch height advantage on Brown. Overhand right by Brown. Got a little help from a push with his left shoulder. Brown, although short, very well built, defined.
Steve, one of the problems for the well-defined short man is that he's not leaping. Excuse me, he is leaping in with left hooks and wild right hand. He's not working behind a simple jab to get himself there and then work the power shots. He's getting timed a few times. He countered like there, but he can't get in with a hook without opening himself up, especially being so short with such a lack of reach. Bad strategy.
You done whipped him every round. Don't worry about it. Now relax. Is round 5 coming up now?
Round 5 starting now.
Okay. Looking good, Steve. Looking good. Keep going. The punch count is going good. You're doing everything. Get the towel. You want it? You go. Now relax. Open.
Beast, make him miss, make him pay. Even if you walk away from him, right? And he swings wild at you, stop on the dime and catch him.
Right.
All right?
Right.
From either side, you can get him.
Mm-hmm.
All right? It's your fight. Come on.
Right.
Okay, gentlemen, seconds out. Let's make it quick this time. Let's go.
It is round number 5 of the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship. Steve Forbes in the black, the champion. John Brown in the gold with the black trim, the challenger. This is a rematch of a fight that took place back in December, won in controversial fashion by Steve Forbes. Stopped in the 8th round, although Brown was ahead on 2 of the 3 scorecards. Forbes was ruled the winner because of a punctured left eardrum on Brown.
You know, it's kind of funny, but I watched the fight and I didn't see a doctor using the light. And I have fought and sparred with punctured eardrums. It's not really a big deal.
Step back.
I don't understand the stoppage there.
And Brown was upset because he claimed that the cut and the bleeding was on the outside of the ear and not the inside of the ear. Of course, it can be serious if it is a punctured eardrum, but affecting your equilibrium.
Well, I said I've broken them both, Steve, in sparring. I've never had a problem with it.
With a minute gone by in the 5th, let's check out the press row scoring. Through 4, our press row judges have not agreed on any one single round.
You know, it's amazing because one of the judges has it 40-39. That means he has 3 rounds even and one round for Forbes. That's kind of amazing.
Let me give these guys a plug. Manolo Alvarez of Diario Los Americas, Santos Perez from the Miami Herald, and Jesus Suarez from the El Nuevo Herald. Well, we're in round 5. Forbes averages 6.5 rounds per fight. Brown a little over 7.
Now work your hand. Work free. Work free.
Brown with the better quality of opposition. He's been in there with guys like Calvin Grove, Gabe Ruelas, Shane Mosley, Diego Corrales, and of course Forbes. The only champion Forbes has fought Alejandro Gonzalez, and he lost by decision, his only defeat. He's won 5 straight since.
Take a step back.
So Brown with 28 championship rounds, and Forbes, even though he's the champion, with only the 8 championship rounds against Brown.
Certainly Brown has had the experience. He's fought with better fighters, but styles still make fights. And right now, I think that Forbes' style is dominating the boxing department.
Well, he is fighting a smart fight, not particularly an electrifying fight, but it's the intelligent fight.
Brown still needs to work him on the jab. He's still leaping in with big right hands to the body, big right hands over the top, left hooks. You not only see them coming so much more readily, you open yourself up to walk into getting hit on the way in.
All right, stop, break, let him go. Come on. Step back now, watch your head. Step back. Time.
Talked about the level of competition for John Brown. 8 losses in 32 fights, but he has lost only twice inside the distance against Shane Mosley and Steve Forbes. He's also been in there with Diego Corrales, losing by decision.
The man way across the ring. He's pushing you.
Some of the notable opponents for John Brown.
Keep dropping, stick him down, bring him back over the top.
All right.
All right, B.
Good rep.
Work him over. Keep digging him in the body, digging him in the body.
We're not trying to complain, but can you really stop pushing him? Now do it again. Now real slow. Either left or right uppercut when he's doing. Then finish with the hook. You're back on the jab. Check us out, please.
Floyd Mayweather Sr., who replaced Miguel Diaz. Also the very colorful cut man Chuck Bodak. You might have gotten a glimpse of him. As we enter round 6.
Floyd Mayweather Sr. has a reputation of being the type of trainer that is an expert on defense, a defensive expert. Hit and not be hit. Hit and get out of the way, hit and move. Good speed, good combinations, but at all times, sharp defense.
You're going in, you wonder what kind of difference will Mayweather Sr. make. Smacking shot there by John Brown. Made a lot of noise.
Work inside.
I'm not sure exactly what effect it had.
And it was, again, a little bit of a slap, too. Slap sounds a lot harder than a solid punch.
Don't grab him.
And a lot more glove hitting, where it should be just his knuckle area.
Right hand there, snuck in on the break by Brown.
Don't grab, let him go. Punch way out, run your hands free.
Third man of the ring, Frank Centauri.
Let him go, Steve, let him go.
Forbes does not have a lot of power. 5 knockouts in his 19 wins.
Don't grab him. Don't grab him.
So he's got to box and move and jab and counter. Brown trying to get in the chest of Forbes. Forbes trying to deny him that opportunity.
Punch way out. Don't wrestle.
There's a very difficult inside fight. They get their hands tangled up a lot, their feet tangled a lot of clinching, a lot of holding, a lot of wrestling.
Break, don't punch. Stop.
Not a good, clean type fight.
Box. Good. Thank you.
Brown trying to unleash that short, crisp inside punch, which he is good at. Try to hit you anywhere he can. In the arms, make the opponent's arms heavy.
Don't push his head down.
There's a pretty left uppercut in the double. Left uppercut underneath and a hook to the head. It's a nice move. It's a beautiful counter hook that Forbes has developed in his fight.
Punch way out. Let him go. All right, break. Tie up. Stop. Don't punch. Stop. When I say break, take a step back. Box.
Good job, Ralph. Good job. Inside. Don't pull back, Johnny.
Don't push his head down, Steve. Go, your hands are free. Work your way out. Punch your way out. Let him go. Let him go, John. Punch your way out.
Stay down here. Stay down here. Right there, punch. 2 hands.
Don't reach in. Punch your way out.
Final 10 seconds of the 6th round. as we come to the halfway point of this IBF Junior Lightweight Championship.
Let out real slow. Get some of the wind back. Steve, do this right here for me.
Steve Forbes on the right here in the black trunks. You see him slipping, dodging, not letting Brown be too effective on the way in. And then on the way out, try to land some shots, tie him up. But there's showing some good defense, good defensive movement. Slipping the punches, working some stuff on the inside, and it counts. Later in the round, he's working that left hook. He's countering John's wild right hand a lot. There's a left underneath. He turns another left hand up top. Probably the best punch of the round is one of those left hooks. John Brown just not getting enough clean punching done on the inside.
Just like the first fight back on December 3rd, this is a very close fight. Through 7 rounds of the first fight.
Break, don't punch.
2 of the 3 judges had it for Brown by a couple of points, and then the 3rd judge had it for Forbes by just 1 point. And you got to believe that we've got a similar situation here. This is a 1 or a 2 point fight for somebody. Probably Forbes at this point.
I think Forbes is ahead. I've actually only given 1 clean round to John Gold, 1 even, so 4-1 and 1 after 6, which is a 3-point lead for Forbes.
Might even be closer than that, according to the ringside judges officially. We're into round 7, scheduled for 12. John the Eastern Beast Brown out of Atlantic City, wearing the gold with the black trim. He's the challenger, 23-8, 1 no contest, 11 KOs. He barrels his way in on the champion, wearing the black. 19-1 Steve Forbes, 5 knockouts. John Brown, Bobby, who appeared to us like a man possessed, a man on a mission.
Both of you, punch your way out.
In the days and hours leading up to this fight, really wanted redemption because of the circumstances by which he lost that first fight. But do you think that he's actually living up to his word right now?
Well, I think he's living up to his word in effort, Steve, and by that I mean this. I think he's still obsessed, if not possessed, about winning this title, about getting Steve Forbes out, but he's going about it the wrong way. I think he's allowed his over-intensity or his over-focus to be misguided, and he's not focusing on making the adjustments. He's not making any adjustments, and Steve Forbes has for the first fight. John Brown has not.
A wise old man in boxing once told me, you can't really fight on emotion. It often detracts from your mission. Is that valid?
Some people can do it better than others. I use the emotion to fight, but I also try to use smarts. Listen to my trainer because he can see things I can't. And it's hard to keep it level playing field in all those areas. It becomes emotion, intelligence, your trainer, your trust. And sometimes fighters' emotions do clearly get the better of them.
Well, Steve Forbes, obviously the more relaxed, calm, cool, and collected going into this fight. That's just his demeanor generally. While
Stop.
John Brown is much more intense.
Box.
And driven.
And stop. Time.
Well, coming up next, our main event. It's the WBA Super Featherweight Championship. Joel Casamayor versus Joe Morales. Let's go back into the dressing room once again and take a peek in on Joel Casamayor's actually outside the dressing room doors. There he is doing a little shadow boxing. You get a glimpse there on the left of Joe Goosen, his trainer. From nearby Miami Lakes is Joel Casamayor, originally from Guantanamo, Cuba. So he'll have the crowd behind him here. Big Cuban population. Of course, fighting here in his own backyard. 25-0, 15 knockouts, won the gold medal at the '92 Barcelona Olympics. Probably would have won it again in Atlanta in '96, but He decided to leave his native Cuba, leave his family, very difficult, and come here and defect to the United States. He's next. Right now, we're entering round number 8 of the IBF version of the 130-pound championship. One of those rare nights when all 3 champions in the same division are performing on the same card. We had Acelino Freitas, although a non-title affair, winning unusually in a decision over Alfred Cote, his first non-knockout in 30 fights. Now this is the IBF championship, to be followed by the WBA. No knockdowns thus far. Again, a very, very tight fight.
Free inside.
But from this vantage point, looks like Forbes is ahead. 1, 2, 3 points. It's pretty close.
Don't wrap up now. Let's go. Work your way out. Work your way out.
You know, once again, you got to point out, Steve, that styles make fights. John Brown, short, little cannonball, awkward style. Forbes more of a stand-up boxer, boxer mover. Not so much a boxer puncher. He's not going to win that many fights by knockout. And at the top of the game, the better fighters are not going to get knocked out by Steve Forbes. They're all going to be decisions should he win.
Bobby, not to be redundant, but Steve Forbes, a well-schooled boxer, pretty good speed and skills, but where does he figure into the configuration of the 130-pound champions? As we see a little blood there over the left eye of Forbes developing.
Yeah, I saw that little cut, and I'm not sure if it was from a head or a wild right hand.
Oh, now it's really opened up around the left eye of Steve Forbes, and a right hand. It's now target practice for the little guy, 5'2" John Brown. He's aiming right directly for it.
Well, I'll tell you, as for your previous question, I think that right now, Freitas might hit too hard. He lands the right hand with some of the frequency that Brown has. It's a different right hand. It's a better left hook.
Don't wrestle,
more,
let him go.
Better applied pressure, sharper jab. Right now, Steve Forbes has a bit to go to prove to him.
Well, this is interesting. John Brown, who lost the fight controversially on a punctured left eardrum in the first fight when he was ahead. He now has opened up a cut along the left eye of Steve Forbes. So now a possible injury will affect the balance of this fight. But it's on the champion this time, not the challenger, John Brown. It's sort of around the eye. I'm not sure. I can't see if the blood is getting into the eye, but it looks wicked right now. It's really spreading around, Bobby. It's almost to the side of the left eye near the eyebrow.
Break. Step back.
But we can only wonder if it's actually clouding his vision. We'll get a better look here, perhaps.
Lean back, let him take care of the business. But you know what happened? Steve, that's why we be telling you, man, you could avoid that, man. Stay outside some. That's what we telling you, man. Stay outside. You ain't got to have that. Box, man. You out boxing them good.
All right. That came from the hedge, not a punch. Let me see.
You're going to see right here. You can see the cut right here around the eye. John Brown looking to hit it. Winds up throwing right hand all the way to the back of the head of the champion, Steve Forbes. But he can see that blood streaming down the eye, and he is swinging for it. He winds up hitting him in the back of the neck, but he is gumming for that eye.
So all of a sudden, a sense of urgency. Dr. Stanley Simpson in there checking the left eye area of Forbes between rounds. We enter round 9, and once again, coming out winging for that target is John Brown.
All right, don't wrestle, don't wrestle. Come on, guys, don't wrestle.
Let's see if the eye injury becomes a major factor here from this point on.
Let him go.
We'll see what kind of job Chuck Bodak did as we throw it over to Jim Gray with a report on the eye. Jim?
All right, Steve, in between rounds, Frank Santori, the referee, came over, took a look at the eye. It is not a deep gash. It is just above the eyebrow. He had motioned for Dr. Simpson to come over, and then when Santori saw it, he said, no, you don't need to come over, Dr. Simpson. He does not believe right now that there is any threat to this fight being stopped because of the cut over his left eye, nor is it bleeding into his eye at this time. Steve?
All right, Jim, thanks very much.
Go, punch your way out.
That is definitely good news for Steve Forbes.
And the next time you get a chance to ask the referee, was it declared a hit, clean hit, or a accidental headbutt? That's also big, should this fight ever stop on the cut.
You're leading with your head now. Watch your head. Watch your head.
Well, after the end of the 4th round, they do go to the scorecards. And right now, we have to believe that Forbes is ahead if the fight is stopped by an accidental headbutt. Midway through the 9th, let's take a check of the press row scoring to this point. Alvarez has Brown up 78-75. Look at this disparity. Perez has Forbes up by 2 points, and Suarez has it even. So all 3 members of press row have it differently.
Stop.
I have Steve Forbes with a slight lead, but I'm not sure if they give those big winging slaps on the back and the shoulder just to make a loud thud, if they're giving them credit for points. As we just watched in the replay, one of those big right hands swung clear over the shoulder around the head, made a lot of noise, didn't hit anything.
I believe through 8 rounds, our press row judges have not agreed on any one single round.
That would be interesting.
Forbes' fights have gone the distance in 10 of his last 11. The one exception is last fight versus the man in front of him right here, John Brown.
You realize the judge that has it 80-78 has scored 6 of the 8 rounds even?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I don't think I've ever in my entire life seen 6 rounds even in a fight, an entire fight, never mind 3/4 of one.
As we approach the final 10 seconds of the 9th round, scheduled for 12, IBF 130-pound championship. A lot at stake here.
Thank you, Box.
In the revived junior lightweight / super featherweight division.
John, you can't pull out on this guy. A little bit on his chest. So relax. How you feel, man? I feel good. All right.
Round 10. Good. 10.
You need a rinse? Yeah. You need a rinse. Steve, when you touch him with 2 punches, man, you got to come back with 2 more. All right? Right hand, left hook. Give me something under.
Seconds out.
And you come back straight and stay on the jab.
Again, Chuck Bodak doing a nice job on that eye. The referee, Frank Santori, indicating that it was the result of a clean shot as we enter into round number 10. And I feel that the reigning champion, Steve Forbes, of the black trunks, is doing a good job in that he is sticking to his original game plan of boxing from the outside, not being lured into an inside fight by the 5'2" John Brown. I think he's winning the fight by 1 or 2 points.
Go. Come on, work your way out.
I clearly have him ahead by a couple of rounds, Steve.
Let's go, guys.
I think he's done the job. I think there are times when John Brown closed the gap, got inside, was more effective on the inside, and outscored Steve. But Steve Forbes, for the most part, is boxing the way he said he would.
Brown has to be a bit on the frustrated side. He just can't get inside. He did get a right hand in there.
Steve, don't push his head down.
Once again, I can't understand why he doesn't jab in. Double, triple, quick jabs, get to the body, get to the head, then unload with the power. Leaping in with the big shots has made it awfully awkward and difficult for him to be effective.
It is indeed the bull versus the matador. An old boxing cliche, but it often does make sense.
Don't grab him, John. Come on, punch your way out. Let him go, Steve. Punch your way out, guys.
But the matador is ahead, apparently.
All right, break. Step back. Don't punch. Step back.
2-pound Steve Forbes with the finesse.
Box.
Nice combination to the head there by Forbes. A quick 1-2. No retaliation by Brown. Brown now digging to the body.
Don't grab it. Come on, punch your way out now. Let's go.
And Forbes clings to him.
Let him go. You're holding.
The cut opening up a little bit now on Forbes, but it's not going into the eye.
Watch slaps. Let him go, John. Break. Let him go. Take a step back now, John. Box.
There's just not a lot of pop on the punches of John Brown. He only has 11 knockouts in 23 fights.
Right, stop punching. Don't punch. Break. Box. All right, stop. Don't punch. Don't punch. You're tied up.
And that'll do it for round 10.
Time.
You got to pivot. Yeah. You throw it right hand. You got it. Okay? Yeah. If you throw it in the loop. You ready? Yeah.
You have to remember the key here is effective aggression. You'll see John Brown. He is coming at Steve Forbes. What Forbes will do is wrap his arms around him, tie him up, then spin off and hit him with a right hand and watch it. Pretty nice. He comes in. He doesn't really land much. Their hands are all tied up. He spins him around, and there it comes right here, right hand, and he lands clean, winning the exchange even because it's just one good, clean shot, and there was a hook on the inside to follow it up. So even though John Brown's being the aggressor in a big way, he's not the effective aggressor most of the time. I have it 6 rounds to 3, 1 even for Steve Forbes.
Almost forgot the mouthpiece, able to apply it at the last second there to begin round 11.
Let's don't start. Stop. Let's don't start wrestling already.
As we get into the championship round, so to speak. But John Brown will have to step it up and be more effective here.
And right there you saw him step it up. Everything was punching on the inside, not just leaping in.
Forbes continues to do a fine job of staying up on his toes and boxing from the outside, frustrating Brown.
No time up. No pass behind the head now. Work your way out. Punch your way out.
Frank Santori doing a nice job. Doing a lot of talking tonight. A lot of those punches just winging into air by Brown.
A lot of them landing behind his neck, behind his shoulder blades. Missing completely. Not very effective sometimes, but better this round than he was in the last round.
I think a lot of people coming into this night thinking that this middle fight would be the most competitive and intense. Maybe I should use that word more, intense.
Punch your way out, guys.
Than all the other fights on this card.
Watch your head, John.
I think a lot of that was based on the first fight where Steve Forbes got out of his game plan and made it more of a street fight, which was conducive to not only a good fight, but also conducive to John Brown getting the edge.
Yeah, the first fight was a much better fight in terms of how the fans enjoyed it, the entertainment value of it. The action was much better. This is more of a chess match in at least from the Steve Forbes point of view. Fighting a much more intelligent fight and sticking to his game plan.
Let him go, John.
Because he thought he was sucked into a machismo situation in the first fight, got out of his game. And he's sticking to his plan here tonight.
That left eye starting to bleed a little bit again. Pretty quiet in the last round.
Brown just looks like he's running out of gas here.
Let him go, John. You're tying him up.
There's a lot of
Forbes up.
There's a lot of bobbing and weaving up and down. That it takes its toll on your back.
A couple of good shots there in that sequence by Forbes.
Best combination by Forbes in quite some time.
Stop.
Jumping all over Brown now and pushing him away. He's upset. And Brown continues to miss with that overhand right. Now an exchange on the inside again.
Step back.
More for Forbes' favor. And that's it for that round. 1 to go.
That's how you work. All you gotta do is be standing. This is over. Last round. You already, you did your job, man. Look at me.
Terrific exchange here. Forbes coming in, blocking shots. Nice right uppercut, beautifully timed counter punch, and working up on the inside. Really playing it smooth. Slip and bang.
Motherfucker.
Last round, second round, great fight, good fight, guys.
Y'all didn't do it at the same time. Kill me. This guy, man, is horrible.
Okay, buddy, good luck, right?
Last round of this championship bout. Steve Forbes on the left, 14-1 in fights that have gone to the judges' scorecard. John Brown on the right, 12-6 under those circumstances. They will touch gloves. And here it is, round 12 for the IBF junior lightweight title.
You would think that right here, John Brown's got to let it all hang out. You just wouldn't think there'd be a whole lot
last round
else to do. Got to swing.
The cut, fortunately for Forbes, has not been a factor.
Don't grab him. Come on, let's go. Your hands are free.
Boy, Brown just walking into a shot.
All right, stop. Break. Break.
Forbes looks to be in the better condition of the two, even though he has been out of the ring for 10 months.
Stop. Don't push him off. I know.
And Brown 5 months. Forbes winning the first fight because Brown had a punctured eardrum in the 8th back in December. Something that enraged John Brown and made him very upset and angry going into this rematch, but unable to make it translate into his fists tonight.
You know, the same way we just watched Austin Freitas fight a very awkward style in Albert Cote. Cote is hard to look good against, hard to knock out. John Brown is even more difficult to look good against. I was incredibly impressed with his way of getting to the inside, John Brown, tonight. I thought he could have worked his way in better, threw his combinations cleaner, more inside, more straight to the point instead of so round.
Stop! You're wrestling. You're wrestling.
You know, again, he doesn't have much power, Steve Forbes, but I thought he could have sat on his punches a little better, been a little more effective with the jab. John Brown on the way in.
Brown, an awkward offensive-minded fighter, presses forward, but just not getting the job done here tonight. Mostly because of Steve Forbes. As the action picks up, Forbes digging in with a left to the body.
Stop! Break! Let him go. Come on, step back, John. Box.
A minute to go in the fight.
Punch your way out. Let him go.
Most fights that get to a decision, you would just almost automatically think that the smaller man landed less punches, was less effective getting on the inside, which is why he's lost so many decisions.
Let him go. Come on, let him go, John. Steve, step back.
Yeah, Brown 23-8 with 1 no contest.
Don't grab his head. Come on, punch your way out now, guys. Your hands are free. Just lay in there. Right, break.
He's lost 2 of those 8 by TKO.
Break. Step back.
The rest decisions. Brown's 4th shot at a world title, first title defense for Forbes. Forbes in the black, Brown on the gold. Final seconds of the fight. And again, it heats up. John Brown getting some whacks in there. Oh, he got nailed.
John Brown almost went down, Steve.
Brown almost went down. He got staggered and almost went down for the first time in his career. That's it. And he wobbles to his corner. And yes, we have to believe Steve Forbes has reason to celebrate. As Cassius Green spritzes down a very, very tired John Brown. And now finally Brown able to break out a very, very quick smile.
I want to say DLBCC. Did it again. Thank you. America presents.
As Steve Forbes looks to hold on to his IBF Junior Lightweight Championship.
You see the results.
Lay it up the scorecards. You see the cut.
Hands up the camera. Show me the champ.
That It really had no major effect on the fighters. Chuck Bout.
All right, what was the difference between this time and the last fight?
Mayweather Senior. They're training.
Not like that.
Probably the most exciting round was this last round. Desperate John Brown, but Forbes, look, waiting on him, back up, stepping off on him, throwing a counter. Now this is right after he had hurt him. John Brown trying to hold on, but Steve Forbes, I just think he stayed with his game plan and stepped to it better. Late in the fight, again, he'd hurt Brown a little bit. Brown just trying to rush in and stop him. Watch him off the ropes here. Time Brown on the way in. You'll see Brown's head snap. He gets hit with a beautiful shot.
There he goes, Steve.
There it is, right hand. Times him coming in. Got his head up, his arms again wide open. I thought he should have fought cleaner, much tighter on the inside. He left his arms open. Got hit far too much, I think, to win this fight, Steve.
Well, certainly not as action-packed as the first get-together with these guys, but
And all the women at the
Forbes
house
will
watching
accept
the
it
fight.
if he has the W for sure. And very concerned John Brown waiting for the scores to be read.
Tommy Parks, my trainer, said, don't worry about looking good this time. We're just going to look good next time.
I know that's what Steve Forbes wanted to do. You see what I'm saying?
Playing
He knew he was going to do
mental
that.
games
Yeah, it's
there.
like the first round. He did the first fight, but
Well, Steve Forbes, who calls himself the forgotten champion, looking to retain the IBF junior lightweight title in his first defense and make it 2-for-2 over Brown.
ain't no bigger than we will be ready for.
Well, Brown certainly talked a good game going into this fight, just not living up to the words. Here's Floyd Mayweather Sr., left of your screen. And Ronnie Duncan now, our ring announcer, has the numbers.
John Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, our judges have come to a decision. Judge Mark Streisand scores the fight 117-111. Judge Peter Trimatera scores the fight 115-113. And Judge Michael Pernick scores the fight 115-113. The winner and still IBF Junior Lightweight Champion, Steve Forbes!
So there it is, the unanimous decision for Steve Forbes. He hangs on to the belt, ups his record to 20-1. Brown, meanwhile, unable to exact revenge, falls to 23-9 with the one no contest. So the championship landscape remains the same at 130 pounds. Coming up next, our main event, undefeated local favorite Joel Casamayor versus Texan Joe Morales for the WBA 130-pound championship. Into the dressing room of the champion Joel Casamayor, Cuban defector now residing in nearby Miami Lakes. There he is with the WBA belt. Really seems to have it together, helps his family back in Cuba when possible. Careful with his money, unlike so many in this game. Just bought his first house. Nothing too elaborate, but comfortable. Married with 3 sons. Trains in California, so really often missing his family. And just the other day, he learned from his wife that his 2-year-old Joel Jr. is a left-hander just like him. Now, assuming Casamayor wins tonight in this safe tune-up fight, a WBA, WBO unification fight with Acelino Freitas, who won earlier tonight, appears inevitable. We're set for post-fight reaction. Let's get it up to Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Steve. Steve, congratulations to you. Are you pleased that it was a convincing win based on the way that the last fight ended?
Yes, I was, because a lot of critics were saying, oh, Forbes is going to lose. And it was a very tough fight, but, you know, I got a new guy. Well, I worked with him before when I won the USBA, and that's Floyd Mayweather Sr. And we got everything worked out, and it's just uphill from now on.
Any concern when your eye was cut?
No, because I got a control corner. Chuck Bodak's one of the best cut men out there, or the best cut man. So I wasn't concerned at all.
Mr. Mayweather Sr., your son want any part of this young man?
Well, that's on my son. That's on Stevie, what they want to do. I really don't want to comment on that.
What would you like to do?
Well, I would like to fight, you know, Freitas is playing games or whatever. If he won't fight Casamayor, I'll fight Casamayor. I respect Casamayor, but, you know, this is boxing, and you want to test yourself against other champions.
It appears that those two will fight. What will you do then? Will you move up in weight?
No, hopefully I can fight on the undercard of that and just stay busy. I talked to America Presents. We got a good team, and they're going to keep me real busy.
All right, congratulations, John. Let me ask you right here, the emotion that you came out with, was there a different type of intensity that you had for this fight compared to the first one?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a good fight. We're going to come out fighting this, you know, best we did. I'm going to turn it up a little bit more. And like I say, Stevie came out, you know, he fought a little bit. But like I say, I think I went there, hurt him a lot. Like I say, I probably could have tried to turn it up even more. But like I said, he moved a lot. So I moved a lot with him.
Seemed as though you were able to get inside. Was that the case? You were unable.
Well, yeah, but then again, I did get inside. I hurt him sometime. But like I say, he spun around, threw a lot of shots over the head, underneath, you know, and around. And he kept moving around, so it was like, you know, a different motion, you know.
You're 33 years old. It's your 9th loss. What do you want to do next?
Well, I mean, I'm still all right, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was a great fight, you know. Ain't nobody get hurt in the fight, but it was like, you know, we traded big shots, and either one of them get hurt. I rocked him a couple of times. He threw a good shot, you know, at the end, and because I threw a big left hook. I think I hit him with a good uppercut, and he threw a right. But, you know, mostly when opponents are mostly hurt, they're more dangerous as they are, because they're going to wing something, but they hurt, or they're not going to stay there and freeze up or fall down.
John, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Real good. Thank you
for
your time.
Okay. Steve, back to you.
All right, Jim, thank you so much. Let's see how the scoring went for this fight, Forbes versus Brown. And first, we'll compare it with the first fight on December the 3rd, when 2 of the 3 had it in favor of Brown, and 1 had it in favor of Forbes. And now we see what happens tonight. Michael Pernick had Forbes winning by a point. Mark Streisand had it 117-111. Quite a disparity there for Forbes. And Peter Trematera had Forbes winning 115-113. So a unanimous decision for the ringside judges officially. Here's how the press row guys saw it. Manolo Alvarez had Brown winning 115-114. Santos Perez had Forbes up, look at this score, by a 120-114 whopping margin. And then Jesus Suarez had Forbes very close, 115-114. And how about the fans at home? Talk about a difference of opinion. Check this out. They had John Brown winning it, not closely, but convincingly, 9-3.
I don't know, Steve, if that's not a disparity, there isn't one. That's amazing. My scoring was along the lines of Steve Forbes, 118, 112. That's how I thought I saw it. That's how he was. He was effective. He did the punches. He landed the punches. He tied him up on the inside. He was effective. John Brown did not get in on the inside the way he was supposed to.
Yeah, Forbes just fought a smart fight.